So, very good evening friends. Today we will start with our lecture number 3. Lecture 3 of Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. Now, in this lecture we will study the first topic which is mentioned in our theory part, that is ethics and human interface. Ethics and human interface. This is the chapter we will be learning about, and we will go as per the syllabus, according to the syllabus, breaking the theory part into definition, significance and application, along with the examples. All of them will have examples: definition, significance and application, D, S and A. This is what we are going to discuss throughout the theory part. In the case study, we'll learn about the approach, how to solve the case study in manner that was defined in earlier lectures. Now, what we studied in lecture number 1 and lecture number 2 is very important. Lecture number 1 and lecture number 2, which I took earlier. Lecture number 1 was, why are we studying ethics? Why are we studying the ethics paper? Why are we studying GS paper 4? This was the main frame of the discussion which took place in the very first lecture. Because we should know why we are doing it. When you know why you are doing something, your conviction for that thing increases, your passion increases, you know how to do it correctly. If you don't know why and how, then things becomes difficult. For example, if you know why you want to prepare for civil services, then your preparation strategy will be good. You will not at all waste time. You will utilize your energy in the right manner. You will have a reason for doing it. And because you have a reason, your conviction will be better, your performance will also be much better than other candidates who don't know why you are preparing. That is why I always say to each and every aspirant who comes to me that please answer your why. Why do you want to become a civil servant? You have lot many YouTube videos, Instagram reels, so many videos about the aspirants who became IAS. You can see their lives, you can see what they are doing, you can read about the life of a civil servant through various novels, various books and realize your reason for preparing. Likewise, your reason for studying GS paper 4 was explained in the first lecture. There I elaborated about few things like British Nolan Committee, its values given by the British Nolan Committee, AISHLOO, ASHLOO, ash in the loo, that was the mnemonic used for the British Nolan Committee values which are required for civil services. One thing. Secondly, why ethics should be studied was also given by Administrative Reforms Commission 2. Second ARC also gave certain recommendations why we should study civil services ethics, how a civil servant can be made ethical, what defines the prime interest of civil servants, that is public interest. This was all given by the ARC2, Administrative Reforms Commission 2nd, in its 4th report, Ethics in Governance. Because of these reports and because of the incidence of corruption increasing like anything, because people have lost faith in values, people have, see nowadays what is happening, media shows a person who is dishonest as a smart person. You also see in real life also, you will realize that people consider others as sharp, others as better only if they are cheats and frauds. We will learn this. that this is how demoralization, that moral values are getting eroded. Because of these factors, it was thought that the civil services aspirant should also study ethics paper. That was the essence of the lecture number 1. Then in the lecture number 2, we studied about two aspects: how to deal with the theory and how to deal with the case study. For theory, the approach I told you is DSA, definition, significance, application, along with the examples. For case study, I told you about the approach you should follow. Then first of all, summarize the case study, then define the moral dilemma there, then define the stakeholders who are there, then finally say that these are the way outs, these are the solutions, and out of these solutions I am choosing this one in next step. These are the steps of following your case study. Then how to make the presentation better, how to make your content rich. These techniques were given in lecture 2. When I said that you should have a table of people, eminent people, and what they said, their codes, their values, how do you identify with them? This was given in lecture number 2. And now in lecture number 3, from the lecture number 3, we will be starting with our syllabus, mainframe syllabus. Lecture 3 will study about the ethics and human interface. This is the name of the chapter, ethics and human interface. That is, various things under this heading will also come. Which are these things? Ethics and human interface, this is the study. Under this, we will study about essence, determinants, and consequences. I already told you that you should actually write down the syllabus with your own hand, with your own handwriting, in your own handwriting on a page, and paste it on your study table, near your study table, so that you get reinforcement again and again and you remember the syllabus. So whatever information you collect will be assimilated in this form and it will be easier for you to perform in the examination. These are very short, simple techniques, but they are very effective. And the beauty of these techniques is that nobody listens to them. Only few people listen to them and they become successful. People don't listen to the important things. That's very, like we say, common sense is very uncommon. Yeah, really, the common sense is very uncommon. People will always make things complex, as one of the prominent teacher from one of the prominent coaching is doing, making things complex so that people don't get convinced but they get confused. This is not the essence of life. Simplify things. If you want to talk to somebody, call. If you are irritated by the person, block. Simple. Move on. If you think that you have made a mistake, go and say sorry. That one sorry can save lot many things around. If you think you are not wrong at all, fight for it, tooth and nail. Fight for it. That is your fight. Don't give up. Now, ethics and human interface, under which we will study the essence, determinants and consequences of what? Ethics. Essence, determinants and consequences of ethics. And See, the chapter is ethics and human interface. So whenever we are talking about the ethics, we are always talking about the, obviously the ethics will have a duty, ethics in human actions. What is the essence, determinants and consequences of ethics in human actions? This is the first part we will study under the heading of ethics and human interface. What will be the second dimension which we will be studying? The second dimension will be your dimension itself, the dimensions of ethics. Dimensions of ethics also we'll study. And the third thing which we'll study will be your ethics in public and private relationships. We are studying the chapter number 1, ethics and human interface, under which we are studying essence, determinants and consequences of ethics in human actions. 1. Then dimensions of ethics. 2. 3. Ethics in personal, that is private and public relationships. Ethics in public and private relationships. These 3 sub-chapters, sub-topics are under the syllabus. We will go by the syllabus itself. There is no need to make it complex and then people run after the syllabus, then see syllabus says something else, something else is taught there in the class. No, this is a competitive examination. You have to go by the syllabus, as simple as that. Understand the concepts, understand the essence, understand the application, but please follow the syllabus, because syllabus has been designed by keeping something in mind by the UPSC. UPSC is not a fool. They have designed this syllabus because they can ask questions based on the topic, and if you don't follow the syllabus and if you keep on going just teaching one part of your optional, then what will happen to the aspirants? So always study in this manner. If you have to crack the exam of civil services, be simple. If you make things complex, already the syllabus is so vast. If you make it further complex, then the Sandeep Bhaiya approach, you will become Sandeep Bhaiya. You will have solution for each and everything, but you will not become a civil servant. So we will move to our first chapter under the chapter number 1, first topic. Essence, determinants and consequences of ethics in human actions. Essence, determinants and consequences of ethics in human actions. This is our chapter today. Earlier lectures we understood why ethics is studied in lecture number 1, and in lecture number 2 how to score well. Today we are studying ethics and human interface, under which we are studying ethics, essence, determinants and consequences of ethics in human action. So first of all, let's understand what ethics means. What does ethics mean? And how we'll understand what does ethics mean? The definition. Ethics is defined as we have already seen, a set of moral codes to guide human beings . a set of moral codes to guide human beings in order to choose two things: what we should do, what we should not do. This is the simplest of all the definitions, and we should not go and study 10 definitions as I have told you. Whether it is optional, ethics, essay or whatsoever, if you read 10 definitions and get confused in the exam, what should we study, what should we write in the exam, then the examiner will be equally confused. Now, this was the definition. What is the essence? Essence of ethics. When we say essence, essence also means significance. What is the significance of ethics? Primarily, the significance of ethics can be defined as, what is the significance? Why are we studying this? Why should someone have ethics? One, we have understood the definition of ethics, that it guides us to choose between what should we do and what we should not do. But primarily, if you look at the essence, the significance of ethics, that lies in shaping your moral judgment one, significance or essence. Shaping moral judgment and world view. Ethics shapes your moral judgment and worldview. Now, what are these things? What do these things mean? What does moral judgment mean and what does worldview mean? That we have to study. The example of moral judgment is your judgment about how should you behave. How should I behave is moral judgment. You have certain universal principles in your mind. As you grow up, what happens? During childhood, when you were very small, during childhood, you define good and bad depending upon the consequences. Yes, this definition given by Aditya is also correct. It provides moral map to find out difficult issues. Yeah, to not only to find out the solution of difficult issues, you can say. So, during childhood, ethics is defined as, like, good and bad will be defined based upon the consequences. if you are appreciated, suppose you got one chocolate after behaving in a particular manner. Your father told you that whosoever comes to the house, you have to say father is not at home. You, although it is a lie, but you followed the father's principles. Father told you, and you, whosoever is a visitor, you say no, my father is not at home. You get rewarded. Now you define your moral judgment as good. What is good? When father says lie. This is your childhood understanding. When you have not made any universal principles, your moral reasoning is based on your reward and punishment. You are rewarded for something, that is good. You are punished for something, that is bad. Good girl, bad girl idea, good boy, bad boy idea, these are formed based on the consequences, reward and punishment. Later on, when you grow up, you realize that there are universal principles. Universal principles, not depending upon the consequences, but there are universal principles which you have to follow. Like as Buddhism says, and Jainism. Buddhism, Jainism says what? Don't lie, don't steal. If you are a follower of any of these religions, you will not lie, you will not steal. These are universal principles, but that development takes place in the later stage, and this is also called Kohlberg's moral reasoning. Kohlberg's moral reasoning says that a child goes through 6 different stages. Now all these 6 different stages are not required for ethics paper. For psychology paper it is required. We will study it. When we are studying Piaget and Vygotsky, we will study that separately. But Kohlberg's moral reasoning says that a child goes to adult stage, within that crosses 6 stages to form a moral reasoning which is universal in nature. Universal in nature, right? So your moral judgment is defined by ethics. Your moral judgment, what is good, what is bad. And here we are talking about the adult people. Okay, what is good, what is bad, that will be defined by ethical principles, ethics. So that is the essence of ethics. One essence of ethics is shaping your moral judgment. One thing, one point. Second point, shaping your world view. World view. How do you view the world? How do you view the world? That is, what do you think is happening in the world? Do you think that most Indians are corrupt? If you believe this, what will be the thought running in your mind? That I should also be corrupt? This is the worldview you have? then you will think if most people are corrupt, I should also be corrupt and I should outsmart them by becoming more corrupt. Corrupt of corrupt. Usurping power. Power makes you corrupt and absolute power makes you absolutely corrupt. Power makes people corrupt. If you have to test anybody's character, give them power. Give them authority. That is why power and authority don't come to those people who misuse and abuse them. Apart from the fact that politicians are always doing this. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Lord Acton's statement, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. When you view that most Indians are corrupt, you will also think of becoming more corrupt rather. Be corrupt and be more corrupt. That is happening. Media is projecting, if you have seen the Sony Liv's program on Harshad Mehta, Abdul Telgi, scam. They are scammers. Harshad Mehta regarding share market scam, Abdul Telgi the stamp paper scam. Scammers. These scammers are being projected as heroes. So what will be your idea? That I should be more corrupt. If these people are hero, I should try to become a hero. So your moral judgment and worldview, they reinforce each other. Your moral judgment is shaped by the worldview and your worldview is shaped by the moral judgment. And these two are shaped by the ethical principles. The common denominator between these two is ethics. Ethics defines both these, moral judgment and worldview. For example, giving you a real life example. I went to a person from one of the prominent coaching institutes in Delhi. This person kept on saying to me that most people are corrupt, most people are corrupt. Most people take work from others and don't pay. They call faculties from other institutes and they don't pay for their work. His worldview is that most people are corrupt, most people are liars. What is happening here? At the end of the day, I realize that this person talking about such principles is actually the most corrupt and the person who lies the most, a habitual liar. Worldview, most people lie, most people corrupt in the coaching industry, you are also corrupt. Moral judgment, because you have to outsmart them. And your ethical principles define them. Your ethical principle, probably you don't have any universal ethical principle that you should be fair. You should follow the principles and norms of justice. That is not there in your dictionary. We can also view it from the point of view of projection, which we have studied in psychology. Projection. What most people do? What they say that others are. Most people, if you meet them, they will criticize others. They will be criticizing others. Wherever they are sitting, they will be criticizing others. What is happening? In your absence, they are criticizing you also. They are criticizing you as well. You understand what is happening? They are doing projection. They are projecting onto others what they are, and this is done by weak people. This is done by the weak people. And let me tell you one interesting fact. It will help you in psychology also and here also to understand the human nature, and that is called observation. There are two sets of people. We can define the gender primarily in two sets. There are others also. There are also genders. We are not saying that there are not other genders, but we are dealing with these two genders primarily. When men are using projection, weak personality. When women are doing projection, they are actually found to be stronger. This is an interesting fact. Men who are found to be using projection in patriarchal system are weak people. Women who are doing this projection are strong people, strong character, strong personality traits, robust. This is a very unique kind of psychological study. So we have understood our moral judgment and worldview, they are shaped by our ethical principle, that is the essence of ethics which we were studying. What is the essence or significance of study? Our moral judgment and worldview are shaped by ethical principles, and moral judgment and worldview, they reinforce each other. They define and refine each other. Why it happens, how and why explained to you. Keen observation about human behavior. Sometimes the optional paper asks you gender differences between men and women in these characteristics. How? Observation. If your observation is strong, you will write these points. Okay. So, if you look at the essence of ethics, we can define the essence of ethics primarily under these headings. And what are these headings? One is your compassion. How and why? And what is the meaning of it? The ethics makes you compassionate. Your idea of compassion, ingrainment of compassion in your personality, ingrainment of compassion in your personality is done by ethics. Why should you have ethics? Because if you are ethical, you will be compassionate. This is the significance or essence of ethics. One part. There will be several other points. One part. If you are an ethical person, you will be compassionate. Most of the ethical people, those who follow the universal principles of ethics, they are compassionate. What is compassion? Compassion is empathy for all living creatures. Not sympathy. As we go on the road, we see there are several people who are poor, who are asking for food. They don't have their limbs, they are handicapped. We have that sympathy in our mind that probably these people are poor, God should not have done this. But we don't have that empathy. What is empathy? Being in their shoes. If you be in their shoes, you will realize that these people are not different from you, just the circumstances are different. They did not get the opportunity which you have. As we say, disadvantage should be always respected in terms of difference, not deficit. Like if you are in a situation where you have probably huge resources, you are rich as compared to others, you should distribute these resources among the poor, if not completely, some part of it. If you are in a disadvantaged situation as compared to others, like some people, they are so funny, they start comparing their situation with others in a manner that Hindu religion allows only one wife, and in other religions, several wives can be there. These kind of comparisons are also done by people. So funnily, they also do these kind of comparisons. So in this comparison, you should not see yourself in a disadvantaged situation, but you should say that we are different people. Likewise, if you are in a disadvantaged situation, you have lesser money or something which others have. Probably you are having a Samsung phone, others have an iPhone. So you should not criticize, be critical of yourself that I have only Samsung phone, others or MI phone maybe, others have this Samsung phone, not Galaxy Note, but lower order phone. Others have that Apple iPhone 15. So you should see as we are different people, and whether I have the utility of this phone or not, to remain contentment, that is the essence of life, to remain happy and content. Not like those people who say this religion says only one wife, there are 10 wives. No literate person, whatsoever the religion is, I have been with people of different religions also, no literate person goes for this approach of having 10 wives and 100 children. They are happy and content with the relationship what they have right now. They find happiness there. So the essence of ethics gives you compassion, empathy for not only the living beings, human beings, but animals also. Here we can take the example of who? Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata, eminent businessman. Ratan Tata, eminent businessman, while in one of the years he was called by Queen of England. Only eminent guests were called, only few prominent and eminent guests across the world were called. Ratan Tata refused to go there. When he was asked, why are you not going there? It's a lifetime opportunity. Only a few people across the world have been called. Why are you not going there? Ratan Tata says, my dog is not well. He has been with me since long. I cannot leave the dog in such a situation and go to meet Queen of England and have royal treatment. This is compassion. The person is so humble. There are so many other things also we can learn from Ratan Tata. Once Ratan Tata and AB Amitabh Bachchan, they were traveling in business class in the aircraft. While everybody was coming and greeting AB, Ratan Tata was silently reading newspaper. When Amitabh Bachchan realized that who is this gentleman who has no idea about me, he is not giving any comms about who is coming to meet me, whether I am successful, whether I am famous or not. Amitabh Bachchan went to Ratan Tata and by stretching his hand said that I am Amitabh Bachchan. I work in films. Do you watch films? Ratan Tata said that, oh, sorry, I don't realize that you are Amitabh Bachchan. I generally don't watch films, so I am not aware of the film fraternity. While leaving the aircraft, while exiting, Ratan Tata greeted him humbly and said, nice to meet you. This shows that the person is not critical of himself. He has respect for human beings, yes, equal respect given to Amitabh Bachchan, but not worried about the fact that he does not know Bollywood, he does not know the stars. He is humble enough to show the same kind of the gesture of gentlemanliness, but not following the crowd. That's also possible. There are so many things we can learn from gems like this around us, and we can inculcate it in our life. Although in the short term we may not gain anything, but in the long term there will definitely be rewards. Like you must have heard about a person who rescued so many Jews from the Holocaust when Jews were being killed in the Nazi Germany. This one gentleman rescued so many Jews. He was not rewarded. Nobody knew about it. He didn't even reveal to others because of the repercussions. Germans would have killed him also. Later on, when people realized, in a silent function, he was appreciated. Thousands of people, full hall. Everybody stood up and appreciated him. Tears rolled down the cheeks of this person who did such a wonderful work. So you see, this person, he was not appreciated for his work, but he kept on doing it without any expectation of rewards. Kept on doing the good work. It will be rewarded. So the thing is that it may be JRD, not Ratan Tata, whosoever it is, but the fact remains same, that this person had the compassion for animals. So compassion is provided by ethics. Ethics provide you compassion. This is one factor. What else does ethics provide you? Second factor, it gives you a sense of justice. Ethics tells you what justice is. What is justice? What is justice? Being fair, transparent, and impartial. Fair, transparent, and impartial with others. Do unto others what you think, the way you want to be behaved with, you should behave with others in the same manner. Being fair, that is, you are treating this person based on the merit. Being transparent, whatever is the business between you two, it should be clear, transparent, and you have to be impartial. You have not to show any partiality. These are the principles of justice. You will be just with others. You will follow the principle of justice with others because you are following the principles of ethics. So ethics gives you compassion and justice. For example, the people, you see, the judges, the best judges are those people who have highest standards of justice. If you have to compare between these two judges, the judge number 1, is honest, transparent, able, but given an opportunity of being Rajya Sabha member, gives a judgment in favor of the government. When there is a dilemma, personal growth, everybody likes personal growth. Or suppose we are talking about a judge, there are allegations of sexual harassment against him. Allegation of sexual harassment. Against a person who is a judge. Now this judge is offered by the government that if you give a judgment in our favor, we will make you Rajya Sabha member and we will take away all the sexual harassment cases against you. We will take care of that. Government has the machinery, the power, authority, they can simply dismiss this case. The judge takes the opportunity. Another judge says that no, if there is a case of harassment, I will undergo the trial, but I will not do impartiality. Who is a better judge? Who has the highest standards of ethics? This judge, judge number 2. So this gives you a sense of justice, compassion, justice. What else does it provide you? What else ethics provides you? Integrity, as we have talked about. Integrity is walk the talk. The values which you are keeping and your actions. There is no confusion between these two. You are doing the same as you prescribe. Your values, as I gave you the example of Lord Buddha, as a lady came to him that my child is eating a lot of sugar. He says, come to me after 3 months. After 3 months, when the girl comes, the girl child, Buddha says, don't eat sugar. The lady was surprised, why didn't you say the same thing earlier, 2 months, 3 months earlier? Buddha says, earlier I was also eating a lot of sugar. So you do unto others what you prescribe. What you prescribe, you are also following the same. Walk the talk. Integrity. There is consistency in your actions. If you are honest at your home, you are honest in public places as well. If you are honest, what some people do, they say, okay, if I go out of my home, then whosoever I meet becomes my prey. At home, I am a very good husband, very good father. But when I go to teach or coach the girl children of my college or school or sports academy, there I prey upon them. Is it the integrity? The answer is no. You find them as prey. You are very honest with your son, we are very honest with your father, you are very honest with your brother-in-law, mother-in-law, everyone. But when you go out, you find you cheat everyone. Is that integrity? The answer is no. You are very honest. If you look at the example of Gandhiji, although a bit controversial, Gandhiji. Gandhiji was a very good leader as far as his public dealings are concerned. Public dealing. In public, he was a very good leader. But at home, he was not a good husband. He was not a good father. You must have also read this in My Experimented with the Truth, or you must have seen in the movie. His sons were very frustrated with the approach he followed with them. He was not giving time to his family. Is it integrity? Again, the answer is no. Howsoever ethical standards you might be following in the public, if you are not following the same set of principles in private, in your personal relationships, then again you are not following the principles of integrity. Ethical standards of highest standard sermonize you, suggest you that you should be integral at both places. If you are following probity, transparency, at home you have to follow probity, transparency, in office as well. Integrity, compassion, justice, integrity. What else does ethics provide? Ethics also provide you with the principle of responsibility, a sense of responsibility. What is responsibility? You become responsible. You say that you are accountable for your actions. If you are an ethical person, you say that you are accountable for your actions. And its consequences. You are accountable for your actions and its consequences. And now comes the major thing. You are accountable for your actions and its consequences, both intended and unintended. Suppose you crack a sexist joke unknowingly, but it hurts certain sections of people in your office, and they come to you, say that, sir, this approach is not good, it did hurt my feeling. You should appreciate that feeling and humbly say, sorry, I did not mean that, next time onwards I will take care of it. This is your not only humility but being ethical. If you say something unintendedly, a teacher recently, while teaching online, spoke something badly about one of the lower caste people. He used a slang for lower caste people. Is it the right approach, being casteist? The answer is no again. You have to be responsible of your actions, both intended and unintended. Even if you have not intended it, if it has hurt somebody, you have to be responsible for that. That is being ethical. Ethics is not an easy thing which you learn and write in the paper and get marks. Following ethical principles are difficult, and when you travel the difficult road, you become a great person. Have you heard of this? Michhami Dukadam. Michhami Dukadam. Michhami Dukadam says that howsoever my action, whatsoever my action or words, if they have hurt you intendedly or unintendedly, I am sorry for that. There is a particular day on which the followers of this principle, they say Michhami Dukadam to everybody around them. That is being ethical, because we never know what action of ours did hurt others. You know, India is a funny country and a great country also. Here, if somebody is walking on the road, whosoever, male, female, it doesn't matter. There are people who are not only looking but staring at you. And some people being very funny. If you are around this place, Rajendra Nagar and all, because of the kind of people who are staying here, most of them Sindhi, who crossed the border from Pakistan, few Sindhis, few Punjabis, and others from outside different states. Not blaming any particular people, but that's just an approach. So they stare at you. If you go to New York, stare somebody for 30 seconds. You will be surprised when 911 will be called, emergency services of police, because they are fearful that you are staring at the person. There might be something suspicious in their mind. We see, there are people who are sadist. They find great fun in hurting others. And there are people who will always try to demoralize you. Pollution, yeah, same principle. Sadist, they try to demoralize you. And they find great fun in this. The basic human nature of certain people, as we'll see, there is an experiment known as Millman's all drop experiment. There is no need to remember the name of the people. There is no need to remember the experimenter's name. All these things are of no consequence to us. You have to understand the essence. What I want to say about the basic human nature. They were told that if there was a set of people on whose, this group of people on whose head a wire was there, electrodes were put, and the switch was given to these participants. They were told, as you increase the shock, we'll give you more money. Shockingly, these people kept on increasing the shock without realizing that it might have hurt person. Although there was no shock, these people were already told that you have to behave as if the shock is being increased. This showed the basic human nature of people. If you are ready to submit, people will exploit you like anything. This has become a basic nature. Shamelessly exploiting people around. That has become the approach. So if you are following the ethical standards, you become responsible of your actions and you don't do this. Then one more thing which apart from compassion, justice, integrity, responsibility, what else is provided by ethics? Autonomy. Whether you believe it or not, being ethical makes you autonomous. Because you have great respect for yourself, because you have great respect for your dignity. And others. You are not following anybody else's diktats. You are not following anybody else's orders. You are following the call of the conscience. Your inner guide to take ethical or unethical actions. You are taking the call of the conscience. So, ethics, apart from providing these things, compassion to you, justice to you, integrity to you, responsibility to you, provides autonomy to you as well. How? You see, for example, and we are taking example, these examples will be there in the case study. You are an SP, superintendent of police of a district. Now, in your district, there is lots of illegal activities. Going on. And you find that gangsters, scamsters carry a lot of smuggling goods through the highway. You have put a great arrangement to stop these trucks. But one day you find that the MLA of the district calls you and says that 10 trucks will pass through this highway. You need not stop them, otherwise you will be transferred and you will be suspended. You are under fear of being transferred or suspended. You call your seniors, they say, sorry, I can't help. The MLA is very powerful. He has great connections in the ministry. So better idea is to follow the dictates of this MLA. You are in a fix. The moral dilemma here is what to do. Follow the call of the duty, call of the seniors versus the call of conscience. An ethical person who is an autonomous person will listen to the call of the conscience, will make arrangements for seizure of these trucks, will make a press brief immediately after the being smart person. Ethical does not mean that you have not to be smart. You have to see the circumstances. You have to ensure that you not only catch these trucks, but people also know. The press brief will be done that I caught these trucks. After the primary inquiry, it has been found that these people have a connection with a certain MLA. That also found in the press brief itself. You will send the press note to Prime Minister's office. You will send the press note to Chief Secretary and DGP of your state. Everybody knows about it. The MLA won't be able to do anything, because everything is in the public domain. Later on there might be some inquiry here and there, but largely you will be doing your duty and you will save your post as well. Being smart and ethical both. You can take the help of local media. If you have a good rapport with the local media, it always helps. Bureaucrats are supposed to be licensing officers. You not only need to be a person who follows the law, as I have told you earlier, the person who follows the morals and principles, but you have to be a person who is smart enough to use the resources of the state in his favor, so that the public interest is upheld. Work for the public interest, but don't be a fool. This is the example of being autonomous. And a person who is not fearful and a person who is autonomous is feared by others also. I'll tell you, years ago, there was a DIG in Jharkhand. He is my relative also. I found that his watch is not working. I told him, give me the watch, I'll get it corrected. Or why are you wearing this police academy watch? He was wearing the National Police Academy watch. The watch he got in National Police Academy, he was wearing. I asked him, why are you wearing such a cheap watch? You can afford much better watch. He said, no, I don't want to spend my money on these things. He called a constable and said, get this corrected. The constable went to the nearby store, got this corrected. He came back to DIG. DIG asked him, where is the bill? The constable said, sir, he did not take money. The DIG fired him, suspended the constable, went to the shop himself, paid money to the shopkeeper. This is integrity. The effect being, what is the effect of such an honest person? Even when in the meeting where there was DGP who was much higher in the rank as compared to this officer, the DGP feared him like anything, because this person was outspoken, honest. Everybody in the police department was fearful of him. There are repercussions also. His wife was not well, but he didn't have enough money to get her treated in a 5-star hospital. Nowadays there are 5-star hospitals. But then people came to his rescue. Because of his honest nature, people helped him and his wife became fine. There are repercussions also. You have to be ready for that. So we have understood the essence or significance of your ethics. Now we will do determinants. Determinants of ethics. What determines ethics and what determines ethical principles? What shapes ethics in you? This we will discuss. But before that, one observation given by one of the student of mine was that, sir, these 2.5 hour classes are quite long. So rather than having 2 classes of ethics of 2.5 an hour, it's a better idea that we have 3 or 4 classes of ethics. Likewise, for those people who have opted for psychology as well, rather than having 2.5 hours of 3 classes of 2.5 hours, we can have 5-day classes or 4-day classes for 2 hours. 2 hours classes, 4 days. 2-hour classes, 4 days for psychology, 1.5 hours classes, 4 days for ethics. So we'll definitely end earlier, around 8 o'clock. Before that, we'll study about these determinants. Determinants of ethics. What determines ethics? What all shapes ethics in you? What do you think should be the determinants? You are a person whose ethics is to be built. This is I. The first and foremost influence you will have as far as ethical standards are concerned will be from your family. First influence you will have on your ethical standards will be from your family, especially from the parents, then again especially from the mother. The values which you imbibe, as we have seen in psychology as well, during our childhood, the early childhood, we identify with our parent of the opposite gender. We imbibe the values, the standards. If there is a girl child, they will look upon their father and they imbibe the standards of their father subconsciously. Likewise, the boy in the family will imbibe the standards of the mother subconsciously. But largely speaking, the values are shaped by the mother, because most of the children, whether they are girl or the boy, they will spend large part of their life, initial years, with the mother. So mother has to be educated. A study done by one of the prominent psychologists found that children generally get the physical structure of their father but mental structure of their mother. Unfortunately, in our country, the practice is that they'll always be looking for the so-called fair bride and an intelligent groom. The idea should be opposite to this, sarcastically speaking. So first factor is family. Then another factor, the most important factor, as we grow up, we see that we are following a certain religion, the religious practice. And religious practice followed by us gives us standards of ethics. As I told you, in certain religions, they follow this principle of, there is principle that you should not lie. There is a principle that you should not steal. These are the principles, ethical standards given by the religion itself. Buddhism and Jainism. So, second factor is religion. Then, from where do you get the standards of ethics? Education. Your education shapes, as you learn few things while you start going to the school, you realize that doing the morning prayer is important, because most of us believe in the God, and the existence of God can be appreciated by doing prayer in the morning. Family, religion, education. When you read in the book that certain people in our culture, what is happening? Who we are appreciating? Most of the time we are appreciating people, or as I gave you the example of media, they showcase Harshad Mehta, Abdul Karim Telgi as heroes. Who is the hero in the USA? Elon Musk. Who is the hero in our country? A politician maybe. That's the approach. That's the difference of approach. Then which factor? Culture. Culture. The kind of culture you have. Go abroad. In the streets of Las Vegas or Chicago, Illinois, where I went for a study of financial engineering, you realize that if you throw dust on the road, not only is there a fine, but people are looking at you as if you have done a great crime. You come to India, everywhere thu approach, thu. On the road going thu, on the during a tree is there thu. On the walls of schools, colleges, everywhere thu. Thu approach is going on. Chewing gutka, pan and all, spreading viruses like anything. Culture, the difference of culture, family, religion, education, culture. What else shapes your ethical principles? Law. What is legal here may not be legal abroad. In our country itself, there are places where in the law itself, it is prescribed that the maternal uncle can become a prospective groom. You can marry your maternal uncle. That's the law. So that sets an ethical standard. But in other laws, what is it called? Deceit. If you are having a relationship in the family, in the blood itself, it is called deceit. So law shapes our ethical principle or not? In some of the religion, the distant cousin can also become bride. So that sets your ethical standards or not? That's a matter of ethics. Law. Then what is the other factor? Media. Media sets the standard. What ethical standards to be followed in public? Media sets the benchmark. Have you seen the debates of late? In some of the debates, people are fighting with each other like cats and dogs. They are about to beat each other. They are about to beat each other. So, our ethical standards nowadays are defined by these media debates. In public, people don't fear saying anything, obnoxious things, abusing each other in the public. In colleges, in the institutes also. I'll tell you how ethics is defined. I was with one of in our colleges, we used to organize these events of Speak Mackay, the spiritual events. In one of the events, Pandit Ravi Shankar was called. He was sitting in the crowd and some novice and immature, a new person was playing sitar. I was the manager of this event, so I went to Pandit Ravi Shankar and told, Sir, you need not stay here for long. You can leave. These are new people. He said, No. A person is performing on the stage. How can I leave? This will be derogatory towards the talent of this person. Such highest level of ethical standards shown by this great person. He himself is so great. So, media portrays a negative picture, and because of that, your ethical standards are shaped. Then, one factor which is common to all these is your personal experience, your personal life experience. You see, the children who are sent to correctional homes, juvenile delinquents, those children who are below the age of 18, who have not become adult and they commit crime because of some innocence or unknowingly they do it, they are sent to correctional homes. After being sent to correctional homes, when they come out, they become hardened. Their personal life experiences have made them probably a potential criminal. Their ethical standards have taken a dip. If you have done good with somebody and he or she cheats you, you think that all other around you are cheats. So your ethical standards are set by your personal life experiences as well. So if we look at the two dimensions under which we can define the determinants of ethics, they can be summarized as personal, within yourself, and environmental. Within personal will come your family, religion, education, and life experiences. These factors: family, religion, education, life experiences. Outside this will come your law, media, culture, etc. These two dimensions, personal, happening to you only, and outside your sphere of personal influence, that is law, media, culture, they define your ethical standards. These are the determinants of ethics or determinants of ethical standards. After this, we are supposed to do consequences of ethics. Which we will do in the next class. As I see, your learning should be comfortable, gradual, so that you don't get bored. That's also very important. You understand things in the right manner. I am ready to take more classes as far as you are improving. So, consequences of ethics we'll take in the next class. Our classes will be held from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 4 days class. For psychology and ethics both. As far as the timings are concerned, I will work out with my team how we can work out the time, and it will be informed to you. But there is no need to worry, the syllabus will be covered. You will have a great learning, precise notes, more applied mind, distinct and different notes from what is being supplied in the market by most people. That is why you will fetch marks also if you follow these classes in a gradual manner. With this, I will end the session, today's session. Next class, we will take Monday onwards, next Monday. As you know, there is from 15th to 24th there is Durga Puja. So during these days I keep fast. So the classes will definitely be run, but there might be some changes as far as timings are concerned. The efficiency and effectiveness of the classes will be same, but everybody should follow their religion, and these times are very auspicious. So I suggest you also, if not following the religion in the manner it is being done in the country, but have faith. There are certain powers which drive us, and we should have faith upon God. Be good, do good, and good night. Thank you very much for joining. We will start with the consequences of ethics in the next class that will be held on Monday. Thank you.